Welcome to CAPA TV, where faith and public safety connect. I'm Reverend Lance McCune. Today, I want to talk about something that doesn't get enough attention, but it quietly undermines some of the best work happening in our communities. It's what I call breaking the connection. And to really understand this, we have to look at it through the lens of something we've talked about before: neutral authority. Neutral authority is not just a concept, it's a structure, it's a framework that allows different parts of the community to work together without losing their identity. Law enforcement remains law enforcement, faith based organizations remain faith based, government remains government. Nobody blends, nobody disappears, nobody takes over someone else's role. Instead, everything connects through a clear, stable structure. I've often described it like this: law enforcement is the flagpole, and every organization, those that are faith based groups, community leaders, they are the flags. Each flag has its own identity, its own purpose, its own voice, but they are all connected to the same pole. And here's the key: that connection happens through communication. Not one-way communication, but communication that flows both directions. Because if that communication breaks down, the flags don't stay connected to the pole. They drift, they detach. And when that happens, the structure begins to fail. Now, let's talk about things that break down in real life, because I've seen this over and over again. It usually doesn't happen during failure. It happens during success. When faith-based organizations and law enforcement come together, it starts working. Trust is built, momentum grows, communities begin to feel safer and more connected. And that success attracts attention. People want to join in. Opportunities open up. New partnerships are offered. And again, those opportunities can be good, but here's the danger. Instead of building to the flagpole that started moving the flags together, they begin to take those groups that were connected to law enforcement and begin attaching it to maybe schools or civic organizations or outside groups. And without realizing it, they've just broken the original connection. Let me be very clear. Neutral authority requires a stable anchor. In most communities, that anchor is law enforcement. Why? Because law enforcement operates 24/7. They are responsible for public safety. They are always ready in position, and they're trusted across the entire community. That makes them the ideal flagpole. So when you disconnect from that anchor or replace it with a third-party organization, you no longer are operating under that neutral authority system. You shift it into something else. That something else may feel collaborative, but it lacks structure. And without structure, alignment doesn't last. There's another place where this becomes even more critical, and that's during crisis. When a disaster hits, when emotions are high, when pressure is intense, outside organizations often step in. National groups, relief agencies, third-party coordinators, and again, they often bring value. But here's the risk: if they become the new connection point, they unintentionally replace local neutral authority connected to law enforcement. And when that happens, the direct connection between law enforcement, faith-based organizations, and community leadership begin to weaken. Communication becomes fragmented, relationships get bypassed, leadership gets confused, and the flags are no longer connected to the original flagpole. This is why your local structure must remain in place no matter what disaster event. Through your emergency management operations system, through your established communication channels, through your relationships built over time, that connection must be protected. Because neutral authority is not something you turn on or off, it's something you maintain. And here's what I've learned: when communities protect that structure, when they keep the connection intact, they don't just respond better to crisis, they also recover faster and better. They communicate more clearly. They build long-term resilience. But when that connection is broken, you don't just lose momentum. You might lose trust. You might lose alignment. And eventually, you might find yourself starting all over again. So here's today's takeaway: stay connected to the right structure. Don't move the flags. Don't replace the pole. And don't allow third party organizations to become your anchor point. Build relationships, yes. Expand partnerships, absolutely. But always do it from the foundation of neutral authority. Law enforcement as the anchor, faith-based organizations as a trusted community voice, government leadership aligned and engaged, all connected, all communicating, all working together without losing who they are. That's how you build safe and resilient communities. That's how you build it so that it will last. That's how you make something and put something together that will not break but will hold together. Again, thank you for joining Clergy and Police Television today, and also our CAPA TV. Also, next Sunday, we're going to be sharing a very important key on how law enforcement can connect with every faith-based organization in their community and have success. God bless you. This is Reverend Lance